Hello, my dear friends. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining me here. I'm Ari Thurger, and today I'll talk about the first divine revelation related to the Eleusinian Mysteries in the ancient Hellenic world. Returning to the classical studies in this channel, as it has been, quite a while since last I spoke of such themes. I've already spoken about the Eleusinian Mysteries before, as well as other ancient Greek religious mysteries in previous videos, so if you have the time, please do watch those videos with more details and more in-depth analysis concerning these studies. Today, however, I would just like to share with you a brief view on King Celeus and his relation to the goddess Demeter as being the first divine revelation connected to the Eleusinian Mysteries. And perhaps today's video is also a religious and philosophical lesson to be taken and to ponder about, of course. By the way, if you don't mind, on the background I'll have music from my own solo music project called Varum, because if you don't want to have any trouble concerning copyrights to songs you would like to use in your educational digital content, then you make your own music. So, my dear friends, I do hope you enjoy today's video. So here we go, let's go straight to it. King Celeus, as the sources tell us, as the myths tell us, was the first mortal to welcome the goddess Demeter in his own land, and thus has become the earliest mortal to learn the goddess's hidden secret rites. As also pointed out in previous videos, sadly, the exact content of these rites and their performance were never recorded. Ancient writers all confirm the deep emotional charge and philosophical impact of such mysteries, but the performances and religious rites were never to be revealed. Nevertheless, this is curious, at least to me it is curious that it is King Celeus to be the first initiated into such mysteries, as he does not follow the usual morals, principles and desires of ancient Hellenic kings and heroes, as he was neither a warrior nor did he hunger for power and to be revered. Instead, he stands silent, listens carefully, and thus receives wisdom. He is a figure that has shown that kindness and love can also define greatness contrary to brute force and violence, as we often see in ancient Greek myths. And it is his very humility that allowed the divine presence to enter his own world, his own self. Demeter, goddess of harvest and agriculture, as well as the keeper of the chthonic mysteries, blessed King Celeus' homeland with prosperity. She made Eleusis sacred ground, the very land to which many from the Hellenic world and beyond would later travel to for centuries to be initiated into the mysteries. Eleusis flourished, its people honored Demeter with seasonal festivals and rites. In the centuries that followed, the Eleusinian Mysteries became the central religious experience for many Greeks and later for Romans as well. But it was King Celeus, with his kindness, compassion and wisdom, that has opened the door for the mysteries to come into the mortal world. It's not by coincidence that it was Demeter that taught the mysteries to King Celeus, a goddess of the things that grow and sustain life, a goddess of the mysteries of the natural world and the hidden infernal powers of the land, which bring about prosperity and fertility. And such mysteries are taught to those with an open heart, a kind heart, to those who do not seek to empower themselves and enslave the land and its peoples for their own profit and to aggrandize their power and satiate their selfish desires, but to those whose compassion and love see past hunger for power and need to subjugation, and see past all that into the mysteries of the land, seeking the divine in nature, in vegetation. And this bears some similarities with the Dionysian cult, of which I've also spoken previously, on another video, of course. If you want to watch it, I would appreciate that. The Dionysian cult, another important and widespread religious mystery of the ancient world. Although Demeter, of course, presents the divine powers of growth and fertility, as well as the sacred mysteries that lie within the earth, and Dionysus presents the more, let's say, brutal and chaotic forces of the natural world, the untamed wild, let's say. But both are vegetation deities and thus represent multiple facets of the divine in nature, particularly in the natural world, and not much the divine of the skies and the oceans or elsewhere, but the very soil in which we stand. And both kindness and compassion, and also love of King Celeus, as well as to be silent, attentive, to listen, leads to receiving divine wisdom and the hidden mysteries of the sacred vegetation. So I think it's no coincidence, and you probably thought about that at this point, that both the mysteries of Demeter and the mysteries of Dionysus bear close resemblance to the teachings and the very figure of Jesus of the pre-Roman scriptures, a figure in itself that expresses the divine in nature, more particularly the divine vegetation. Well, whether he was a real historical figure or not, a subject of ongoing debate, it seems clear that whoever wrote the miracles and deeds of the pre-Roman Jesus was quite aware, if not indeed initiated, into the Eleusinian Mysteries and the Dionysian cult. After all, such religious mysteries were the most widespread and important of the ancient classical world, including within the Hellenic and Roman colonies, and the implementation and spread of such mysteries among all sorts of social classes who flocked from all corners of the old world to be taught the mysteries. Now, if indeed Jesus was a real person, being such a central figure in biblical religious teachings, and he himself a teacher of ancient mysteries and the divine powers of vegetation, might have been a person knowledgeable in the ancient Greek mysteries. Jesus himself, whose personality and deeds bear close resemblance to the myths that speak of both Demeter's and Dionysus' mysteries, might have been a central figure in spreading such mysteries in the Middle East. Which is why, again, whether he was real or not, there's no doubt that whomever wrote the scriptures was well aware of such mysteries and wanted to convey such religious and philosophical teachings through the figure of Christ, a figure which by itself would become associated with vegetation, and in early depictions and throughout the Middle Ages and early modern period, Christ is accompanied by vegetation motifs. But, that is perhaps a subject for another time, surely. In the meantime, I do hope you have enjoyed this short video, a different kind of presentation to be sure, quite unusual in this channel, but it's just to keep you company in another week, as always. As I travel and I cannot be here with you, but I wanted to keep you company nonetheless. So, my dear friends, I hope you have enjoyed today's video. With cordial greetings, see you on the next video. Thank you for today. Until we meet again, my dear friends.